Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we will be creating this part here using Inventor. We will also be creating a drawing out of it, and I want you to notice that this one has a section in it. So we will be discussing how to create a section, and this is just going to be a simple straight line section using Inventor. Alright, so if that's something that you are interested in and look forward to, please stay tuned. Okay, so here, let's go ahead and start by selecting the new icon here. And then we're going to start with a standard millimeter part, and we'll hit the create button. All right, and let's make sure I hit that. And while Inventor is loading up here, we will just say thank you for tuning in and watching these videos. You can do a comparison on this part, as I did it in AutoCAD and in SolidWorks as well. So if you want to see any of that stuff, please go ahead and watch those two videos. That way you can get a really good comparison of what it's like to do them in all three of these programs, and you can kind of determine, which one is really simpler. But you're going to see that all of them follow the same process. All right, so we're going to first start off by creating a sketch here, and we're going to start this one on the YZ plane. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and create a U shape. So if you do get a chance to go and watch the SolidWorks video, you'll see that doing things like this is really simple because you have a thin feature option that's inside of SolidWorks that is here, not inside of AutoCAD or inside of Inventor. But that's one of those super neat features, is that all you had to do was draw 3 lines and create it. This I have to do a little bit more work, but it'll still be simple enough at the end of it, right? So this distance here going all the way across should be 90. The distance here on this one should be 10. Let's see, what else do we need to know? We can do the inside dimension, or the outside one here. Should be set to 60. And then this inside one should be set to 50. And now I can either do that dimension or the one over here on the outside. I'll just do this one at the top. Make that 10. We need to kind of put everything now in reference to our origin here. Let's just go ahead and drag this up to the top. And we will see if we can go with and you can see here's that horizontal. And although it's saying horizontal, I get the dotted lines to being vertical. I'll go ahead and select that origin point, and then I'll go find the midpoint here, and that'll line those up. And then I'll put one more dimension on here, which is a dimension from this top line here down to the origin, and I'll make this number here 45. Okay, this part is fully constrained now. Let's go ahead and finish the sketch. Zoom out. Let's look at the extrude command. We're going to send this going both directions, and the overall distance will be 60. Let's go ahead and hit OK here. Alright, now I can go ahead and put my fillet on the top of this and kind of complete the top half of this, and then I'll put the bottom half on it. And it really doesn't matter which order you create these. Most people will probably go ahead and put the bottom part on, but I'm going to work a little bit different today. So I'll go ahead and select this, give it a radius of 30, and then go ahead and select these little endpoints here, and hit OK. Alright. I can also go ahead and put the hole that is running through here. So I'll go to the hole command. And the way this works is that I can start off by selecting the face. Then I can select the concentric reference to it, which is that circle there. And then I'll give it a diameter. In our case, it's going to be set to 20. And it's going through all. So therefore, that icon should be checked. Let's go ahead and hit the OK button. And the top half of this one is created. Let's kind of look at the bottom part of this. I'm just going to rotate it up. I'll go ahead and select this bottom face, and then I'll go ahead and click the plus icon there. I'll go with the circle command. Go ahead and click here, and then I'll bring it out to here. Then I'll do one more circle that goes to here. Let's go ahead and place those dimensions on these. So I have a dimension here, which is set to 60, and then I have a dimension here, which is set to 40. Okay, everything is done. Let's go ahead and finish the sketch. We'll go ahead and use the extrude command. I'm just going to select the inside part here, and we're going to send it down a distance of 30. Alright, So everything we have done so far now, the modeling part is done. We'll go ahead and save this. And then we'll save this as example number 3. Okay. So now we have our part created and saved. Now we're able to go ahead and do the drafting portion. So I'll start with the new icon here. And then I'll go ahead and select the ANSI millimeter IDW. Go ahead and hit create on that. Give it a second. It should be loading up the template that we're going to use for drafting. Let's go ahead and do a right click on this sheet 1. And then we're going to adjust the sheet size. So I'll go to edit sheet, tell it that this is going to be a B-size drawing, hit OK. And then I'll go ahead and delete the title block here. I don't need to see that at the bottom. Let's go ahead and select our base view. The base view should come in. I'm just going to move this down to the bottom corner. I'll go ahead and select my top view here, and then I'll go ahead and put an isometric view here in the corner. Let's go ahead and hit OK onto this. All right. We can go ahead and do our section view on here first, or we can go ahead and, I think it's probably good practice to go ahead and put our center marks and center lines on. So I'll go ahead and do the center lines, which is going to be located here and here. Let's go ahead and do some center marks. And let's see, I'm just trying to think in my mind what all else I need to do. Let's go ahead and bring this down to here. We'll do the exact same here on the bottom one here. Let's just send that all the way through. And then we'll go ahead and put our section view on here. So this section is going to be underneath the place view. I'll go to section. You can see down here on the command line, it's asking me to go ahead and select the view. I'll select this view. And what I'll do is I'll just touch that center, and then I'll come above it, do a left click here, go straight down, do a left click, then do a right click, hit continue, and drag out this direction. And then it should create that solid for us. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put some center lines on that. So I'll go back to the annotation here, do the bisecting, and I'll place them on here, here, and one more here. Okay, so that's all of the center marks I need. Another thing is that I can kind of hide this whole entire line here. I'm just going to select it here, do a right click on it, and then I'll uncheck the entire line. And now it's going to give me just the top and the bottom portion. Okay, let's go ahead and do our dimensions. I'll just do all of my dimensions first, and then I'll come back later and format them. So let's just go ahead and knock out as many of these dimensions as we can. This one I will go ahead and edit this just a hair since I don't have much room here at the bottom. Okay, let's go back to dimensioning. Go ahead and put a dimension here. And we're just going to keep doing all of our dimensions. Remember that I have this kind of set to that rapid fire approach here. Remember, the way to get to the rapid fire approach is if I double click on here, and if I have this box checked, that's going to be kind of the slow way that I like to call it when you're creating dimensions. But if you have it unchecked, what it's going to do is allow you to keep creating dimensions, and it's not going to have that dialog box that's going to appear every time you create a dimension. So I kind of named it the rapid fire approach. I don't know if there's an official name from it, but I just don't like to have my dimensions being edited, especially when I'm creating them. Okay. Let's see, we have a couple of more dimensions to put on here, and then we can talk about the formatting portion of this. All right. Place a dimension here along the top. I do like that Inventor will give you these kind of built-in stops to it, and that's just one of those things that it does just to make sure you keep everything equal to each other, right? It's just kind of a built-in approach to stopping your dimensions, and it'll help you keep things lined up. So if you have a whole bunch of drawings or a whole bunch of stuff happening on your drawing, you can kind of have all your dimensions lined up if you do follow those stops. So I can drag this one up, and it should come up to the next stop, which is here. So it keeps them all separated at an equal distance. All right, So next I want to go ahead and double click on here, and I'm just going to make this dimension underneath it say through. And when I double click on that dimension, you can see I'm on the text tab. And let's go ahead and type in through. Okay. All right. Now we can go on to the formatting part of this. Let's go ahead and zoom the extents. We're going to go to the Manage tab, and then we'll go to the Style Editor. We're going to give this a little bit of time just to start up for us, and hopefully it shouldn't take us that long. And while we're waiting, I do want to thank you for keep coming back and watching these videos. And I just noticed that I forgot something along the bottom there, so we'll put that on here at the bottom. I forgot 2 dimensions, but we'll adjust that here in a second. Okay. So underneath here, and we discussed in the last video of how to, or one of my other videos, of how to verify that this one is indeed the correct standard style that we're going to change, but I'll go ahead and select it here. I'm going to go ahead and hide those trailing zeros, which is going to be here, so I don't want them to be displayed. And then underneath the text, we're going to make all of our dimensions horizontal, and that's what this option is. Once I hit the save and close, all of these should automatically update for us. Here at the bottom, you can see that I have this where it says the section, and that's one of those things that is required. Let me go ahead and move this to the side. You can go ahead and delete it for the drawing purposes here, but just remember that anytime you're doing some kind of drawings or drafting, those are really needed. Let's go ahead and put these last dimensions along the bottom. And so you can see that it noticed that these are a cylindrical dimension, so therefore it is already putting the diameter symbol in front of those. So those were the dimensions that I did forget. Let's go ahead and kind of clean up some of this other stuff. We can go ahead and make this a different shade, and we can either change the number here, or we can drag these and it will go down to whatever the next size or scale is. You can see that's a 1:2. This is a 1:1. So somewhere in the middle there, which is probably a 1.5, this is where I need to be. All right, so hopefully you enjoyed watching this video and you kind of learned a little bit more about how to create a drawing here in Inventor. And I do want you to go and watch the other videos, especially the one in AutoCAD, and you can see really how similar they are, as well as taking a look at the one in SolidWorks, so you can kind of see that they are similar but a little bit different. Okay, so thank you for tuning in, thank you for coming back, and as always, keep drafting, and I will see you in the next video.